Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're going to be taking a little bit of a break from our MSI coverage. Those videos are going to be definitely more right around the corner because we have all different kinds of stuff to talk about as we head into stage 2 of the tournament. But today I want to talk a little bit about the LEC. This is a story that we've been covering for a while now, but we have an interesting update today regarding Selfmade and what exactly his future has in store. Obviously, there's been a couple different stories already about Selfmade, about Vitality, what their direction looks like, not only going into summer split of 2022, but then also into 2023 as well. It seems like Vitality, is starting to come up with more and more of like a longer term plan, and a lot of that doesn't seem to have Selfmade really anywhere in that. Now, are those plans going to work out? Are those plans going to fall through? Are they going to suck? Is it going to be better than what they did in spring? Is it going to be worse? Who knows? But then it's obviously going to beg the question of what does Selfmade's future have in store as well? We're going to be talking a little bit about that in today's video. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. I would appreciate that a ton. And of course, as always, subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Help us run those numbers up a little bit. I still think like 49 or like 48, something like that. Above 40% of the people that watch my videos aren't actually subscribed. So, we could still have a lot of room to grow in terms of the overall subscriber count, even right now, without getting like any more views or anything like that. So that'd be absolutely awesome. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, just to catch you guys up a little bit on what we've already heard, we have heard Selfmade come out and say that he thinks their drafts in Spring Split were really bad. He thinks they were playing stuff in scrims, it was working, and then they wouldn't play that on stage, and it made him look bad. He was carrying with picks and scrims like Olaf, and then on stage, he was playing like dog champs or whatever. He also says, his coach Mephisto sucked, and maybe they should replace him, or maybe they're gonna replace him, or whatever. Then we had Wooloo come out and say that it looked like Selfmade was gonna be benched. We didn't know what was gonna be happening with him. They're bringing in Haru, and they're also bringing in Bo. We have the fact that Wooloo said it just seems like the team couldn't figure out how to play on the same page in game, and they didn't have the same ideas about mid to late game, like actually how to close out games, how to actually win games, and it just leaves us in this very, very weird spot. And the latest we got today was this tweet from Selfmade. He tweeted out thumbs up. This was after the news came out that Haru was coming in, after the news came out that Bo was coming in, and again, Bo is their like long-term option, and obviously Haru's being brought in as their short-term option. So, hey, where's the spot for Selfmade? Who knows? He tweeted out this thumbs up. He's kind of saying, oh, sweet, great, awesome, whatever. And then Comp actually replied. Comp said, Comp by Selfmade, summer vacations 2021 and 2022. Obviously, Comp ended up not playing and then coming back to Rogue and doing really well and making a name for himself. And it really seemed like, one, maybe him getting benched and being all the way out of the LEC was a little bit unwarranted, but also maybe time off can be good. Maybe it allows you to level up. Maybe you're able to come back stronger than ever. But also, one, he's hinting at obviously something here, and then Selfmade replies. He says it's kind of nice to not play League 12 hours a day, meaning that this means Selfmade will not be playing for Vitality. That's not surprising. But he also won't be playing for Vitality B either. He also won't be going to another LEC team, at least for the summer split. And he won't be going to the ERLs either. Now, we knew there wasn't a lot of other options in the LEC because not very many teams have changed junglers or anything like that. Maybe Fnatic was going to. Maybe Mad Lions were going to. But none of those ever happened. So there wasn't really anywhere for him to go. There really weren't a lot of spots and options open, but maybe Vitality B was going to be an option. We saw him tweet out that B emoji earlier in the offseason, and then maybe another ERL was going to be an option because there's tons of other ERLs out there, but Selfmade likely has a high salary. He likely has a high buyout, and it seems much more likely that maybe he can be brought back in if Haru just like absolutely sucks at some point during the summer split, but probably not, especially after he's come out and said stuff about his coach and the other players have come out and said that they kind of asked for him to be benched. I mean, that's what it was. Wooloo was saying that the players and management were all kind of on board for Selfmade being benched. So it seems unlikely Selfmade will be playing for Vitality in the summer or ever again. And there's not really anywhere else for him to go. And ERLs might not really have the money or be able to work something out. So then we start fast forwarding to 2023. What's going to happen to Selfmade? Because his story has been very, very crazy. He's bouncing around all over from team to team to team right now. He can't really find a place to call his home, and he always has issues or things somewhere. Obviously, didn't end with Fnatic on the greatest note. Now isn't ending with Vitality on the greatest note. And these are two of the bigger spending, two of the bigger and better teams in the LEC. And there's not a lot of teams that spend a lot of money or would be amazing options for him. You don't think he's going to go to an SK again. You don't think he's going to go to Astralis or anything like that. BDS doesn't necessarily seem like they're in looking at a guy like that. Then you have Fnatic, then you have Vitality. So it's already half the teams in the LEC that are probably just not even options at all for Selfmade. So who knows what's going to happen? Is Vitality just going to keep him in contract prison until somebody will want to buy him out? Are they maybe eventually just going to release him and let him go for free? But yeah, it's crazy because, again, like 2 years ago, this guy was seen as potentially one of the best players in the West, one of the best players in the world. He was seen right there with Jankos. And this is not because Jankos was bad or underperforming, but because Selfmade was performing so good. Selfmade on Fnatic when they got up 2-0 on top esports and almost made semifinals at Worlds. That was like Selfmade not only being a part of those teams, but being a huge, major part of these teams and being very, very successful as like a huge carry threat in the jungle. And obviously things have kind of soured. So there's questions about just how good he is. I don't think anyone thinks Selfmade's bad. He's a top 10 jungler in the LEC. He deserves to be in the LEC. And it's a damn shame that he's not going to be in the LEC in the summer. And I really do think that these are big issues with the competitive League of Legends scene right now, that we are not always fielding our 10 best players in every position in the leagues. That's not how these things should be. That is not what's best for our teams and for our players. One, to just build up longevity of careers, but also to build up fan bases. Selfmade is a popular player. He's an exciting player. He's fun to watch. And it doesn't make sense that worse players are ending up on teams while guys like Comp and Selfmade end up sitting out just because some teams don't want to spend money or won't spend money or can't spend money or whatever. So this really, really does obviously suck. Looking ahead to the future, 2023, what options are there going to be out there for Selfmade? I think a lot of people are going to be saying Excel. Excel seems to be interested in VTO, who's also going to be a free agent. If Excel could go out and get VTO and Selfmade, could be potentially pretty big upgrades over Nukeduck and Marcoon, obviously. Pair them up with Mickey, Patrick, Finn. All of a sudden, Excel starts to be a pretty scary looking team. Maybe that's the direction, Excel decides to go. Who knows for sure? Maybe Misfits, but they don't really seem to have a ton of money or anything like that. But maybe Misfits could look at trying to hang on to VTO and going out and getting a guy like Selfmade. They've also been in the market in consideration for Summit. So there's definitely big players and big moves out there to be made. But like I said, there just seems to be less and less options available for Selfmade. As far as other teams, if the LEC does decide to expand to 12 teams, maybe Selfmade could be a candidate for one of the two new teams coming into the LEC if that does end up being K-Corp and Koi. Also, speaking of K-Corp, if they just find a way into the LEC, maybe they'd be looking to get Selfmade because we know Selfmade and Reckless actually seem to get along and like playing together. There's also the option of potentially Selfmade looking at ERLs, K-Corp being one of those or one of the other big name ERL teams. It seems like could be very, very real possibilities and options as well for Selfmade. And then, of course, there is always going to be North America as a potential option. Who knows what's going to happen there? Really, any of the top 5 teams could potentially be a landing spot for Selfmade, or he could look to maybe even go to one of the lower teams as well. I don't know how he feels about NA, if he'd want to go over there, if he'd want to go get paid, or maybe he just sticks to streaming and content creation and stuff altogether. Now, to me, Selfmade does seem like a competitive guy, a guy who, has the drive and the determination and stuff and wants to play competitively, but, he has good streams too. He's a pretty popular player and he can do that as well. But I don't know. Start thinking about like TSM Selfmade. I know there's been rumors of like Cloud9 being interested in Selfmade in the past. All these different names and rumors flying around. Who knows? Maybe even TL. Obviously, people have been talking about Team Liquid. If they finish 3rd or 4th place again in the LEC in the summer, maybe they'll be looking to make changes into the future. And maybe Selfmade could be somebody potentially on their radar as well. Who knows? I just think Selfmade's kind of in a weird spot where he's not at like the peak of his career. Selfmade a couple years ago, I think, had much higher stock, much higher value. So he's kind of floating on his way down, and people are like, hey, are we going to get that old Selfmade? Are we going to get this new Selfmade who just like finished middle of the pack in the LEC and didn't really stand out and has got kicked from 2 straight teams and kind of is always in drama and kind of is always starting stuff and talking on Twitter and talking on stream and yada, yada, yada. Like, you don't know what you're going to get, but it's going to be a hefty price tag and a big ego and all this stuff. But at the same time, he's also very, very talented and a guy that would probably be an upgrade over most junglers in the LEC or the LCS or the ERLs. Who knows? But we do know, as Selfmade saying, he's probably not going to be playing competitively in the summer split of 2022 on Vitality, Vitality B, anywhere in the LEC or anywhere in the ERLs. And like I said, I think that's a shame. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this. Where do you think Selfmade's going to play next? When? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.